Welcome to the Faithful Fathering Podcast. This is Rick Wirtz, founder and president of Faithful Fathering, where we encourage and equip dads to be faithful fathers. Those are dads that prioritize their physical presence, are engaged emotionally, and lead spiritually by example. The vision for the ministry is to engage dads in raising a godly generation and to reinvigorate the church on the fathering front. We thank you for joining us. This podcast series, segment 3 of 3, is on adoption. And we're blessed again to have Mr. Brian Stanton with us. He's an accomplished actor and producer and great husband and father, and blessing to have him in the studio here. Brian, you've shared your story of your journey through Blank, the first production you've written, connecting with your birth mother, and you spoke of a second play that you wrote and produced called At Ghost Kingdom that takes the audience with you on the search for your dad. We left it where you felt like you'd worked the last angle and through a process of elimination accepted that your biological dad must have passed. Yet something was nudging you that wasn't necessarily the end of the story. Kind of pick it up from there, if you would. Again, thank you for being here, Brian.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. This is great. So I still didn't know the truth, and I didn't know things for sure. So I still set out to look for that truth. I just took a different path. And there are all those DNA testing sites right now.
How long a break did you take, or did you really?
Not long. I mean, I definitely took a breather, and I think the biggest break, Rick, was first just not calling anybody and not personally reaching out to people anymore. I just needed to step back from that because. I felt humiliated at times and embarrassed and bothersome and a burden. And I felt like I really crashed into these people's lives, even though it still is my right just to know. It's emotionally exhausting.
Sure. And now, refresh our memory how much time, and we know you connected with your birth mother at 23.
23.
Where are you at now?
And so I guess I began actively searching for my father around 35-ish, something like that. And then now I'm around 40.
Okay. I remember that.
Yeah. 40 years old, you remember that? That was a long time ago.
Hey, watch out.
So anyway, I noticed all the Ancestry.com, 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, MyHeritage. They're all out there. And you spit in a tube, and then in a week or two, suddenly you know where you come from, and
wow.
Information about your DNA and your genes and your traits, but you also see who you're related to, other people that have done the same test, other people that are in that database.
And this whole industry is really just fired up.
This had just started firing up. The first time I went on.
About 2015, something like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. 14, 15. Yeah, is when I did it. And it had been around a few years before that, but not as popular as it is now. Now it's really popular. You're seeing commercials on TV. And folks, I'm going to make this very long and convoluted, crazy story as clear and precise and as brief as possible, just to avoid confusion, because there are a lot of names and a lot of rabbit holes that you jump down and a lot of trees you bark up. And there were many late nights of me barking up the wrong tree on a certain surname or going down a rabbit hole on some other name. And you just don't know.
Sure.
The closest relative that I had that popped up as a second to third cousin. And we were a little confused at first, but later we came together and he was very open to talking with me. You can send messages to some of these people that you're related to. Whether they respond to you or not is up to them.
It goes back to your intrusive thing. You aren't intrusive because they have the option not to respond.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So there were two people in particular that helped me on this DNA journey. And the second one in late 2016 popped up as a first cousin. So I had a first cousin and a second to third cousin were my closest. And that's what I had to go off of. And I had to place a relative of theirs that was in Kansas City in 1974, because I was conceived in late April, early May of 1974. And that was the difficult thing. Families are big. Well, some more names started popping up, and I had joined 4 DNA sites. And I was comparing all the names, and I even had a spreadsheet and looking at stuff. And again, to make a long story short, some more names were popping up, and I was trying to put the puzzle pieces together. These 2 angels that I had helped confirm the names and where they came from. And I learned that there was one woman who had been in Kansas City in 1970, or who had been in Sedalia, Missouri. That's right outside of Kansas City, for those of you who aren't familiar. Sedalia, Missouri, and that was the closest to Kansas City in 1974. And that woman had 4 children, 3 daughters, and 1 son, and maybe they can help point you in a direction of who your father is. So I looked him up. I looked up this woman. I found all 4 of her children online. In fact, they were all on Facebook. And this was in 2020. The very, very beginning of 2020.
So there's 5 years that passed.
Yes.
4 to 5 years that passed from when you connected with your angels.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That's how long it took. It can be overwhelming and confusing. That's why I'm trying to keep this as brief and as clear as possible. Okay. But boy, there were a lot of ups and downs and a lot of holes, and like I said, a lot of trees and holes just going up and down and all around. Trying to put this stuff together. Anyway. I was at Facebook. This is when I decided, and it's been quite a few years and I've done this. I sent that email out again to disturb and disrupt another family. Why not? So I sent messages on Facebook to all 4 of them. But since we weren't friends, sometimes a message doesn't pop up, or it's hard to find, or maybe you have that notification turn off. So I was a little... I just didn't expect a response. But the son was running a business and had a website and had a personal email there. And, well, I convinced myself, I'm going to go ahead and email the son with the same message that I sent through Facebook. And the son responded the very next morning, right away. And he said, I know how important Father's presence is in people's lives. I'm happy to help you out. Let's start with the name of your birth mother, and we'll go from there.
And that was on March 12th.
That was in March, correct. Yeah.
2020.
That's right, yeah. In March of 2020. And so I said, okay, here's the deal. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for anybody who just responds because it can be scary. Not only scary for me, but scary for them as well. And I said, my birth mother's name is this. She went to this high school. I was conceived late April, early May of 1974, and I was born in February of 1975. Sent out the info. He responded, I knew your birth mother. I went to high school with her, and I went on a double date with her late April, early May of 1975.
Of 74.
74, thank you, of 1974. And I fell out of my chair. I was like, this is him. This is the man. He's my father. I know it. And also in that email, he said, I understand there's a test, and I'm more than happy to do a test with you, and we'll move on from there. And I called my wife right away. I was like, I found him. I know it's him. It's him. I told her the story. She couldn't believe it. I sent the test out, and a week later, something like that, 5-7 days later, test came back, 99.999999%.
There's a lot of nines there.
And so I found my father. I found this man. It took several years, and it had nothing to do with the rape. It was a completely different story. I believe it happened shortly after the rape. So I am not from the rape. I am a product of this double date here, late April to May of 1974. And this man is definitely my father, and this man is you, Rick Wirtz.
And you are my son, whom I love and with whom I'm well pleased. That was quite an exchange, and I want to share with everybody that my bride was on the email, the very first email I got from you. The Lord just compelled me to open that email and respond, and open the dialogue. And my bride knew I had been sexually active in high school, and I was a confused kid as well, coming from a divorced home and, on my own from 13 on up, lived a pretty rough childhood. And so that's part of my journey, and my bride knew that when we started dating. And my kids were also aware of that when they went through True Love Waits. I let them know that one of my biggest regrets as a man, and when I met my bride that I wanted to marry, that I wasn't pure for her, and that I wanted to encourage them to absolutely stay chaste until marriage. So this was quite a curveball. Obviously, I had no idea, because when I learned of your birth mother's pregnancy, I actually did call her, and she said that don't worry, you're not the dad, and that was the way I left it, and I never had any other interaction with her at all. But to find out 46 years later that you are my son. And for us, I was convicted very quickly. You're gracious enough to open your home to me. I came out and visited you, and we got to meet his lovely daughters that I get to call granddaughters, and just a fabulous family. I tip my cap to you for your 20-plus years of marriage to your bride, and for raising such beautiful young girls.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, boy, it's.
But we talked to him during the email. I said, I think I made a comment at one point. I hope I can help you get this roller coaster ride to an end. And I think your comment when you shared the paternity results with me was that, my roller coaster ride's come to an end, but I think I put you on one.
Yeah, we're on a whole new roller coaster now.
To which I said, I think I have to take responsibility for that one.
Well, the journey continues, right? One journey leads to another, and we're always moving forward, and now we get to move forward with each other, and it's a very special thing.
Absolutely, and the journey does continue, because my daughter was gracious enough to invite you and your bride to her wedding this May, and the opportunity to be together as family, for folks to see us together. To say because we did follow the paternity test up also with a DNA test.
We did. You joined 23andMe.
That's right, and we have what we found at the wedding was everybody was saying we could have saved you a lot of money on DNA tests. Yeah. Because we have the similar characteristics, similar profile, and what have you. So that's always interesting how nature and nurture, how it plays out.
Yeah. If I may interject real quick, you said nurture. Rick, well, let me start. I'll tell all of you how fortunate I am as a human being. But Rick said, when I said it's 99.999%, you are my father. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, I love you and I'm proud of you. And that just, tears, right? That's what every son, every child wants to hear. And so that's the nature side. Now, my father was the first one I called, my adoptive father, to share the news with him. And he said, I'm proud of you. I know what this means to you, and I'm glad that this worked out. Congratulations. And so I also got to talk to my adoptive father about it. So come full circle, there's the support, again, from my mother, my adoptive mother, my adoptive father, my birth mother, my wife, your kids. Everybody's been very open and willing to engage in dialogue, and just let's go on this life journey together. It's a good life.
I also remember the comment your older daughter Malaya made was when she said you called her, and she says, "I knew he found you, but I wasn't going to steal his thunder."
Yeah, that's right. I believe you also asked her, you said, "What do you think about having another grandpa?" And she said, "Oh, the more the merrier."
I think she's thinking money.
Yeah, right.
But I just want to share with everyone that the key is, I think Sherman Smith captures it very well, and I think is an ESPN special, as well as in Kendrick Brothers' "Show Me the Father" movie. He says, God can take a mess and make a miracle out of it. And I think that's what's happened here. And I do just applaud your tenacity, your perseverance, your just steadfastness on this journey, and your willingness to take those body blows, but not be knocked down long, but to keep getting up. Wow. And that's a tremendous trait. And I'm sure it served you well so far, and it's going to continue to serve you well.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without people like you with the open arms that you've had. So thank you, and love you too.
Well, love you. And folks, I just want to share as we wrap this up that it has been a blessing. It's been a very interesting journey. There's always more to the story, and there'll be another chapter somewhere down the road. But hopefully we'll get too much more involved. But I just remind dads that wherever you are, there are lives that you can touch, whether you're a biological father, adoptive father, father figure, spiritual father. Just work to always prioritize your physical presence. Be there as often as you can in whatever situation. Engage emotionally, and always lead spiritually by example. One thing that I always share, my bride and I, we had an absolute peace brought over us throughout this communication, throughout the email journey, and this was going to be okay. And we're blessed by the relationship we have now with you and your bride and your lovely girls, and just thank you for that. So dads, keep fighting. Thank you, Brian, again for your time.
Thank you. This was a treat. What an honor to be here, and what a great experience to share this with you.
Well, men, tune in next time to the Faithful Fathering Podcast. God bless. Godspeed.